Good evening, this is Kuro. Got a tier 10 game in my Smaland, going over the matchmaking threats to my ship. Enemy Lexington, Des Moines, Brindisi if they can get broadside shot at me, and radar ships Donskoy, Double Cleveland, and the enemy Daring. So I spawn basically on the 5 line on north. I'm close enough, I'm going to move out to the kind of my favorite flank out here, and I'm going to try to set up just a random torp opportunity right here. What I'm looking at is, it is a CV match, so I want to be careful doing this, and if the CV's in the area, I might just cancel it altogether. But I want to push up here and see if I can get some torpedoes off in this general vicinity, because it's very common for cruisers and especially battleships to be pushing through this little aisle, channel, whatever you want to call it. Now I see that my CV's dropped fighters there, so I'm going to go ahead and make this move. I'm just going to dive right into the fighter cover and just take that gamble that the rocket planes are going to leave me alone while I push up here. And that's what I'm looking for. This Soyuz is looking interesting. The Yamato's headed this way. Got a couple interesting opportunities up here, and I'm sure that once I push up here, I'm gonna spot some other opportunities as well. But so far, that Soyuz really looks like a tempting target for me. I do spot this Donskoy, so I need to be careful about his radar. And I'm just going to go ahead and line up just a wide set of torps right off this island point right here. The idea being that the Soyuz is going a little fast right now, but if he slows up, if the Donskoy stops, any of these guys kind of stop, pause, or anything in this sort of vicinity, the Yamato turn in, I've got the potential maybe to hit one of 3 targets or maybe even more. So I'm just gonna keep moving out towards the 1, 2, 3 line. This is where I want to be. Want to get out here where I can spot, where I can start gunboating and start making my presence felt. Now I'm not happy about where my Seattle's at. The reason being, this FDG is just going to crush him if he stays out there. It's not going to be pretty. 3 torp hits on the 4 torp hits on the Soyuz. Unfortunately, these torps, they don't do a lot of damage, only 31k, but I'll take it. I'm not going to jump in here gunboating right now, helping my Seattle, because frankly there's just too much stuff that can shoot at me right now, and that Daring can just instantly smoke up and I'd be kind of hosed. So, unfortunately, you know, we're going to lose our Seattle, but I'm trying to set up other opportunities here to try to counteract that. Not the greatest torpedo angle in the world. Kind of predicting that FTG would turn in. Daring keeps pushing me. Now I'm holding my radar right here simply because I'm waiting to see if this Daring is going to try to smoke up on me. If he is, or just go undetected, I'd be able to pop my radar and work this guy over. So I'm using my speed boost, using my radar, really just trying to cripple this Daring right now, get him out of the way. I don't want him around here. This is my playground. I am pulling out because you see how much more supporting fire he's getting from his teammates than me. So you know, regardless of how good you shoot, if you've got, you know, 3 or 4 ships shooting at you, it's highly unlikely. Excuse me, it's highly unlikely that you're going to be able to out trade an enemy DD in that sort of fight. Now, I do just keep kiting back, and you know, this Smaland, it's really kind of been an opportunistic boat for me. I just wait for ships to be looking the wrong way, and then the shells kind of have a long flight time, so you can have, I mean, you look how many volleys I've got in the air. You can put a lot of shots up in the air and have them waiting on target before the enemy can really understand that they're under, you know, that sort of focus fire. Now, this ship has an 11% fire chance with this build. That's a lot of potential fire damage here, and there's a second fire there on the FTG, and nobody's shooting me right now, so I'm just going to keep raining this HE on this FTG and see what I can do to finish this guy. The enemy CV's, you know, distracted elsewhere on the map. You know, nobody's shooting me, so I'm just gonna keep my guns hot. You know, help my team by doing damage, and help myself by putting out damage. Get a fire that would have killed the FDG, but our Implacable was able to put a torpedo in him and finish him off before he's able to repair. So I'm going to start pushing back up because I want to try to take this flank. And, you know, we've still got the Yamato out here. The Soyuz is somewhere out here. I know this Daring is heavily crippled, so if I get spotted, I can just press radar and counter spot that Daring. It's one of the reasons why I don't run Concealment Expert on this captain. I rather have AFT so I can have a little bit longer gun range to work with.
All stations requesting fire support.
Now my plan is basically to push up here, drop torps on the Soyuz, and just get some gun damage here as I kite back out. I was contemplating radar there. I decided not to. I was going to try to get this Soyuz instead, just because that Daring is, I mean, he's so beat up right now that, you know, there's not a lot he can do. He does get spotted here, so I do take a couple shots at him. And again, taking a look, seeing nobody's really shooting me. So I'm just going to keep going to work on this Soyuz. In this game, you know, the enemy team just, for whatever reason, I have a cloaking device on or what, they seem to be very focused on shooting my teammates. Now, granted, I'm not making myself a very easy to hit target. If you look, I'm angled away. I've got my speed boost active. I am, you know, ready to mitigate damage as quick as I can. And here, I'm just trying to get a fire on the Soyuz. That's burning. Getting a fire on the Yamato. Now, the Yamato instantly repairs it, so I'm going to try to focus this guy down because I've got a big damage opportunity right here by following it up with some unrepairable fires. And there's the first one right there. Want to keep just, you know, slamming that HE in there. Try to get this guy chunked out as best as I can. If I land another fire on this Yamato, it really, and there it is, it really starts to put him in a bind. seeing if I can get that last fire on the stern. But you can see the Soyuz is coming back in again. Gonna throw some torpedoes out his way. And again, just, they're not really shooting me. They're all shooting, you know, my allies behind me. So I'm just gonna keep, you know, slamming shots out there and keep dealing damage. If you're not gonna make me go dark, I'm just gonna be aggressive about it, and I'm just gonna keep shooting you until you do shoot at me. I am trying to keep a little bit of distance here as this Soyuz is pushing in. Try to keep this guy around the 12-kilometer mark. Now the way this Soyuz dodges these torps, it's making me think either he's, you know, got an anti-torpedo build, or that Daring still might be hanging out around there and spotted those torpedoes early for him. Got another fire on the Soyuz, trying to get one on his stern. And you can look and you see just how controllable this stream of HE is. I'm already trying to land shots back on the superstructure, and bam, there's 3 fires on that Soyuz. And unfortunately, he gets off damage control in the last minute. But, you know, again, if they're not going to shoot at me, I'm going to keep shooting. Do pick up an unrepairable fire on the Soyuz. He does have a short damage control cooldown period, so he will be able to damage control this here again relatively shortly. So I'm just focusing on getting as many superstructure pens as I can. Try to reduce the amount of hit points he has so that fire can finish him off before he's able to get a repair off, get his damage control off, etc. Now, finally got kind of a break in between the shooting. Taking a look at the mini-map right now, and I don't really like what I'm seeing, where we've got, you know, 2 ships coming up here against 3 enemy ships up here, and this Donskoy, this guy's just kind of like bait. And, you know, if you paid attention to chat, I just told my team, leave this Donskoy. By the time it takes this Donskoy to get off the border and sail all the way over here, we can do something productive, you know, somewhere in the middle of the map. But I'm worried about these 2 ships because they're isolated. You got this Daring up here that's potentially going to be able to do something nasty. And, I mean, that Yamato just hammered our Montana. And that does not leave me high hopes for our cruiser up there. So I'm canceling my plan to kind of dive through these islands because the enemy Lexington's still in the mix. I want to kind of stay near AA because I don't have smoke. I don't know how beat up this CV is. I see one short squad of torp planes here, but I don't know if he's still launching full squads of rockets. So I'm just playing cautious right now because we're tied up on ships. You know, we've got a little bit of a point advantage, but at the end of the day, it's really close. And I think when we lose this, lost this cruiser, we just lost a point advantage. So we're gonna have to do something to try to get those points back if we want to win this. And what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna dump torps in on this Yamato, and then I'm gonna dive into this island because I see the CV coming. I want this Yamato thinking that I couldn't have torped him yet when I get spotted here. I want to be kind of this direction. I'm not too worried about the one rocket plane. My AA should be able to shoot it down, but you see how I'm turning in and I'm making it look like, oh, he hasn't got to this channel yet to drop torps. So now Yamato, he's thinking, oh, he's going to be coming out to Torp eventually, but I got a little bit of time. So I want to get out here, spot for my Smolensk. My Smolensk is smoking up, and he's starting to drop shots in on the Yamato, but those torpedoes, they're so fast, they're on the money, and we're going to tag that Yamato with 2 torps. And it's kind of sad that you need 2 torps to kill a 10k HP Yamato with this ship, but it is what it is. Now I know this Daring's out there somewhere behind me, and I'm just kind of dipping my stern in right now, see if I can get detected. But at the end of the day, I don't want to go too far from my Smolensk. You know, I still don't trust how weakened that Lexington is yet. And again, it's tied up. 3 ships. We do have the points lead, so I'm comfortable just waiting and making the enemy team make a move where we can try to go about something. Now, my spider sense is kind of tingling right now that this Donskoy should be getting pretty close to us. There's the Daring Torps. Not today, buddy. I do get radared by the Donskoy, and I'm looking at the Donskoy right now, seeing if he's gonna take shots at me. I see that he's shooting at my Smolensk, and this Daring's not a primary threat to us. This Donskoy is, so it's really important for me to help this Smolensk out with this Donskoy. Try to get this guy gunned down. At the same time, try to shoot down any planes or anything like that that are coming from my Smolensk. We're really kind of in this together, and this is what teamwork looks like. You know, this Donskoy is trying to fight my Smolensk, and he's got to also fight me at the same time. And now that the planes aren't in, I'm really looking in there, seeing it, you know, about trying to line up some of those shots into the superstructure where I can get you know, HE penetrations, and my Smolensk is eventually able to put down the Donskoy. At the same time, you know, we're both shooting down planes. We're just working together. And that's the reason why I canceled my move up here, because, you know, our ships are so much stronger together than we are separated. And you look at how that flipped for the enemy team, how they were able to exploit their numbers up here to defeat our 2 ships. But by staying back here together, we were able to flip that back on them again, taking out the Yamato, taking out the Donskoy, and now with our CV finally able to hunt down the Daring, take him out, it's just the enemy Lexington left. And at this point, I'm pretty confident that this Lexington has been pretty well thrashed, and I'm going to push aggressively up here to try to spot him regardless of what my Smolensk is doing, because at this point I'm pretty sure we're going to win this game, and I want to try to cap off my game with as much damage as I can. So momentarily we're going to see a spotter plane pop up, and there you go, that's going to reveal the location for that Lexington. He's just outside gun range, and I'm going to start shooting. Doesn't look like he's moving. I don't see any smoke. You know, the important thing is trying to get in range of this guy. It's not the greatest angle for me. You're going to see a lot of shatters here when I'm starting to shoot, where I'm hitting his flight deck. You can see 7 shatters, 2 penetrations. I do have to turn around this island, so only my front guns work right now. Now what you're going to see me do, you're going to see me start shifting my aim more to the side of the ship. There you go, right in there. I'm trying to land my shots on the side of the ship, and especially hit the island of that large superstructure island on the carrier for additional uh, penetration damage. Now that my angle's really starting to open up, I'm really just trying to focus, that spot to get as much of my HE in there as possible, because this game's ending here very shortly, and I'd really like to kill that CV, but unfortunately, not quite able to. So this game is a little ridiculous with just, you know, the enemy team just letting me be aggressive. And it's one of those things that, don't be afraid to stick your foot out there and kind of test the waters. If they're not going to shoot at you, there's no reason why you should not be shooting back at them. This game, 551 shell hits, um, you know, in a DD that doesn't have smoke. There's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't be able to be aggressive if the enemy team is not really putting the pressure on you. At that point, the lack of pressure on your ship, that's a prime opportunity for you to be exerting pressure on the enemy and helping your team and make the enemy team shoot at you, make the enemy team remove some of that pressure off your allies and try to shoot you. And at the end of the day, that can help you win the game. And I mean, early on, those ships were shooting at me. I think they just got demoralized when they weren't landing any significant hits on me, and they just kind of figured, well, I'll shoot at something that I can consistently damage, and it just left me to kind of run right over them. And I mean, this game, 178,000 damage, 89,000, 90,000 spotting damage, uh, turned into a really good game. Unfortunately, not quite. That's like heartbreak amount not getting the wither, but it is what it is. So, did want to get another game in with the Smaland. I know there's a lot of people still talking about the ship. Um, I think that the ship's all right. I still just think that for 2 million free XP, that's really freaking expensive. I can do a lot with 2 million free XP, but for the people that you know are Mr. Moneybags and they're rolling in it, um, maybe they've just got that free XP to burn, or maybe they just really like the ship. Um, it doesn't quite get there for me. I figure as long as I've got it in my port, I'll play it and get some content out for you guys that are curious about the ship. So anyway, hope you guys are having a good night. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. Leave them below, and I will talk to you later.